In the spring of 1453, the great city of Constantinople was under siege. For weeks, the Ottoman Turks had been bombarding the city with cannons, but the defenders had managed to repel every attack. However, they were starting to get desperate. Food was running low and the people were becoming disheartened. But then, just when all hope seemed to be lost, a massive fleet of ships arrived from the west. Could this be the relief force that would save Constantinople? Or would it lead to its destruction? To understand what happened next, we need to go back to the beginning of the siege. In April 1453, the Ottoman army, led by Sultan Mehmed II, began a massive assault on the city. After weeks of fighting, the Ottomans had gained control of most of the city walls. But the defenders, led by the Roman Emperor Constantine the refused to give up. They knew that if the Ottomans took the city, their empire would collapse and Europe would be plunged into darkness. And so they fought on, hoping for a miracle to save them. Then, just when all hope seemed to be lost, a massive fleet of ships arrived from the west. The ships were carrying soldiers from the Republic of Venice and the Papal States, who had come to help defend the city. With their help, the defenders were able to hold out against the Ottomans. But even though the relief force had arrived, the people of Constantinople were still in danger. The Ottoman army was still outside the city walls and they were getting reinforcements from all over the empire. As the weeks went by, the situation became more and more desperate. Food was running low, and the people were becoming disheartened. But then, just when all hope seemed to be lost, another fleet of ships arrived. This time it was the Knights Hospitallers, a holy order of warriors who had come to help defend the city. With their help, the defenders were able to hold out against the Ottomans. But even though the relief forces had arrived, the people of Constantinople were still in danger. The Ottoman army was still outside the city walls and they were getting reinforcements from all over the empire. And then, just when it seemed that things couldn't get any worse, the Ottomans opened a second front of attack. A traitor had opened the gates of the city for them. In the end, the relief force wasn't able to save the city. And in May 1453, the Ottoman army took Constantinople. This marked the end of the Byzantine Empire and the beginning of the Ottoman era in the Eastern Mediterranean. But why is this battle remembered as the true end of the Middle Ages? It's because the fall of Constantinople marked the end of classical antiquity and the beginning of the early modern period. The city had been a center of learning and culture for centuries, and its fall meant that much of Europe would be plunged into darkness. The Byzantines had been the heirs of the Roman Empire, and their defeat by the Ottomans was a major blow to European morale. It also marked the end of the Eastern Roman or Byzantine Empire, which had lasted for over 1,000 years. In addition, the fall of Constantinople was a turning point in the history of warfare. The Ottomans were the first major power to use gunpowder weapons on a large scale, and they used these weapons to great effect during the siege. They bombarded the city with cannons and then used their gunpowder weapons to great effect in hand-to-hand fighting. This marked the beginning of the end for medieval warfare, which relied on swords and shields and armor. Finally, the fall of Constantinople was a major event in the history of Islam. The Ottoman conquest of the city was a major step in the spread of Islam, and it marked the beginning of the Ottoman Empire as a major power in the Mediterranean. So there you have it, the fall of Constantinople in 1453, the true end of the Middle Ages. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about this topic, I've included a number of resources for further reading. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.